الآن.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAD Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Fresh Syria talks open in Asatana. Spain seeks rebellion charges against fired Catalan leaders. And moving on to our details, starting with the Syrian profile. A fresh round of peace talks seeking to end Syria's war opened in the Kazakh capital Asatana on Monday as part of a Moscow-led push supported by Iran and Turkey. Kazakh Foreign Ministry spokesman confirmed that delegations from the Syrian government and the rebels seeking President Bashar al-Assad's overthrow had arrived in Asatana, as had negotiators from Turkey, Russia and Iran. From another aspect, the latest round of talks begins days after the Islamic State militants group was forced out of its de facto capital Raqqa in northern Syria in a major victory for the US-backed Kurdish Arab Syrian Democratic Forces. Onto the Middle East crisis, the Israeli military said it discovered and detonated a militant tunnel on Monday that was dug from Gaza into Israel. The military spokesman said that thanks to groundbreaking technology, this active tunnel, which was still being dug, was discovered and forces blew it up inside Israeli territory. Moreover, he called it a grave and unacceptable violation of Israeli sovereignty and that Israel holds Hamas responsible for the breach of its territory. The military's discovery followed word from the United Nations Refugee Agency that it had found what appeared to be a tunnel burrowed beneath one of the schools it operates in the Gaza Strip. On the other side of the world, Spain's state prosecutor said on Monday that he would seek charges of rebellion, sedition and embezzlement against members of Catalonia's ousted secessionist government. Chief Prosecutor José Manuel Maza said he would ask judges for preventive measures against the politicians and the governing body of the Catalan parliament that allowed a vote to declare independence last week. It's worth mentioning that rebellion, sedition and embezzlement charges carry maximum sentences of 30, 15 and 6 years in prison respectively. From another aspect, the Spanish foreign minister said on Sunday that regional leader Carles Puigdemont would be eligible to run in the election, provided he is not imprisoned. On another side, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte won pledges from Japan of help with fighting terrorism and assistance in building the country's crumbling infrastructure as he met with Japan's Prime Minister on Monday during a visit to the country. Japan promised its support in the reconstruction of the southern Philippines city of Maui, in addition to cooperation on various projects, including a subway system for Manila, energy development, and maritime safety. From another perspective, Japan's foreign ministry said the assistance from Tokyo includes 15.9 billion yen, $140 million, in low-interest financing for a water management project in the Philippines' flood-prone Cavite province. And moving on to our economic news, global stock markets were mixed on Monday as investors waited to learn U.S. President Donald Trump's pick to head the Federal Reserve. London FTSE 100 lost 0.3% to 7,488, while France CAC 40 edged up 0.1% to 5,497, and Germany's DAX gained 0.2% to 13,2428. Spain IBEX 35 jumped 2% on a poll showing that support for independence in the region of Catalonia has fallen. On Wall Street, futures for the Dow Jones Industrial Average and Standard & Poor's 500 index fell 0.2%. Meanwhile, the Shanghai Composite Index lost 0.8% to 319.34, while Tokyo's Nikkei 225 added 3 points to 22,011.67. And finally, weather news. A severe storm packing hurricane force wind gusts and soaking rain swept through the northeast early Monday, knocking out power for more than 700,000 and forcing hundreds of school closures in northern New England. National Weather Service meteorologists said there were reports of downed trees and power lines around the region and roads that were impassable in spots due to flash flooding. The New England area appeared to get the brunt of the storm, which brought sustained winds of up to 50 miles per hour in some spots, with a gust of 82 miles per hour reported in Mashpee on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Fresh Syria talks open in Asatana. Spain seeks rebellion charges against fired Catalan leaders. And we reach the end of our MISAT bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.